Elevator Game has an official trailer and is going to be hitting Shudder, which is not a surprise. This is Rebecca McKendry, her follow-up after last year's film,
Glorious.
Glorious. I was forgetting the title for a second. I was going to say the Glory Hole movie. Um, but yeah, no, I got to just check this trailer out. You saw it a few days ago, I take it.
Yes, I did. Yeah, when the news broke.
Yeah, I was just a little preoccupied with everything we got going on, but I had my Bigfoot reviews and all that, so I'm a little late to the game on this, but I am intrigued. I think that it's interesting enough of a concept. The execution it leaves me a little uncertain as to the kind of quality that we're going to get with the film. But, I kind of felt the same way about Glorious. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, the concept is cool, but like, I don't really know what to think about it.
Yeah.
And then that movie blew us away. As opposed to this one, I don't know. It seems neat, but again, I think this is gonna be one I'm gonna just have to sit down, watch, and really assess my thoughts. Because right now I'm pretty crossed on it. I'm like there are some shots that I liked, some concepts that I like, but it feels a lot like Smile
Mm-hmm.
in some ways, and I just don't know if I'm ready for another movie so similar to that. But it looks cool, and I do like Rebecca McKendry, so I think that if she's behind it, there might be a little bit more to it.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely has piqued my interest to a certain extent. I'm not necessarily sold on the trailer too much. Glorious was a film that we both spoke very highly of, and just going into the concept of Glorious in general, I think the pitch there is intriguing enough that's going to make you want to check it out. I like the idea of the elevator game, and I like that we're kind of expanding upon some of these urban legends and myths that take the internet by storm to a certain extent. Because elevator game's been a big story, and with the initial thing that it's mostly based off of, and just I know that the concept of the elevator game's been tackled on some television shows as just like a one episode deal and explored in that fashion. As a full film, I'm curious to see where they're going to take it. Certainly, I'm more concerned about I guess I would say more so the casting here, where this seems like it's falling in line to a B slasher just by the casting more so. Whereas you look at something like Glorious, you had J.K. Simmons, you had Ryan Quanten. It was, a more aged group of seasoned actors, I think. Whereas this one, I think it really does come down to that casting and whether these characters are going to become likable. I'm not really getting that likable factor from any of them. But looking as we're gonna compare this to Glorious, since this was Rebecca McKendry's last film, I think Glorious had a great twist to it. Now I don't know necessarily if they're going to go that way here with Elevator Game, or it's just going to be more. I feel like this is going to be more self-explanatory. It's going to be
Yeah.
more face value kind of stuff. So the trailer is intriguing enough that I definitely want to check this out. We're subscribed to Shudder, so it's like, why not just flip it on and digest it? But I don't know necessarily if this is going to be one. Whereas Glorious, I talked about throughout the year. Whereas this one, I don't know. I'm more concerned that this could be one view and then file it in the back of my head, and I forget that it exists until we're discussing best horror of the year, and then be like, oh yeah, that movie did come out. Is where so I'm at with this one.
Yeah, and I think that it doesn't necessarily even ring if it's good or bad if it's streaming on Shudder.
Not
It's
at
kind of
all.
like streaming on SCREAMBOX or something like that, where it's a very horror centric streaming service. You can always trust those to have some line of quality to them. It doesn't necessarily mean like it's an absolute death sentence like it does with some of the bigger streamers. But I think overall, again, this looks very much like a Smile, and I agree with you that the cast, they didn't do anything to blow me away. There isn't that intrigue of, like you said, having like a J.K. Simmons in there. But I think if she can bring a little bit of uniqueness to this, and kind of bring back a little bit more of that charm that she had from Glorious, and really work on these characters and make them likable, that I think we could have something fun here. And I think overall, though, the thing that just kind of is hard to sell me is that I just don't know if the threat is original enough for me, because like I said,
Yeah.
it very much feels like that smile, and it's just it just feels like something that we're just going to retread over
Yeah.
and over
The
again
the
with horror.
the premise just seems a little recycled at this point,
Hmm.
especially as you had mentioned, Smile coming out so recently compared to this film also going to be coming out, what, a little over a year apart, maybe? As this is
Hmm.
September release or October, I'm not sure,
Well,
but
it says it's going to be on Shutter September 15th. I think that Smile was like September 12th.
yeah, so I mean, like
It's
we're
about a
looking at
year.
these, yeah. So I think maybe, especially with the way Smile was talked about, I think if that comparison lies, I think Smile's gonna win out just because it came first and it's such a big film for
Hmm.
the horror community. But we'll give this one a watch. I think Rebecca McKendry will bring that flavor to a certain extent. I mean, she made the most of a restroom bathroom.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see opening up a world and seeing what she can do here. Definitely gonna check it out. We'll definitely have a review on it. We just got to see. The jury is out on whether it's going to be swaying one way or another.
Yeah, I definitely am in the middle on this one.